that moves. eNCA.com.
Our top story in Johannesburg's emergency services are evacuating residents from Kliptown and Soweto after floodwaters continue to rise. Heavy rainfall has roads and houses in Soweto flooded. Joining me live now is eNCA reporter Narissa Subramani, who's right in the middle of the rising water. Narissa, thanks for joining us. What's the latest there?
Actually, Belinda, I'm going to let the camera tell you the story of what's the latest here. As you can see, vehicles have had enough. As you can see there, people are getting a bit fed up of this road being closed. You know, every time there is some form of rain, there is flooding in this area. This is one of the main roads that's affected. And New Canada Road is the main road that connects Johannesburg with Soweto. In the background, you see a lot of people that are waiting for the water levels to drop. It has decreased dramatically in the last half hour, but not fast enough to keep up with the traffic. And obviously, cars that are not 4x4s are not going to make that journey. But this is actually the third car or the third 4x4 we've seen do that. In fact, it was a fire truck that that had to turn around. They were on a call, but they couldn't take this road here, and they had to radio the control room to have another fire truck respond to an incident in Soweto.
Well, Narissa, we do have teams out there in that area as well. What are you hearing there in terms of how people have been affected from their daily homes basically being washed out?
Well, in Kliptown, from what we know, is the people are reluctant to leave. They don't want to be evacuated. However, they don't have a choice in the matter. Their homes have been evacuated, and emergency services has made provision for about 40 families. But what we're seeing now is people that are not affected by the floods and are coming in to cash in on this, and they want access to this food and blankets. So emergency services definitely have their hands full at Kliptown. A councillor was supposed to speak to them, and I understood that he has addressed the residents. However, they're still reluctant to move from there. We'll see how that story unfolds as it gets towards nightfall, to see if they actually do end up going back to their homes, and if they end up staying in the hall that has been provided for them for tonight.
Now, how difficult has it been for officials to make sure that they're giving the relief to the people that need it, as opposed to those that you mentioned that are trying to cash in on this?
Well, as you know, the people are more interested in keeping their houses than actually cashing in on what they're entitled to at the moment. So authorities have their hands full trying to convince them to actually, for their own safety, stay in the hall for tonight until the weather lets up. And even though it has let up for a while, we still see authorities on high alert. But for now, I think they're doing their best to try and convince them that staying in their homes tonight is not an option.
Well, this is just obviously the start of what's likely to be a very cold and wet season in Johannesburg, Narissa. Are we hearing anything from officials about what some contingency plans in the weeks to come could look like?
Well, what we do know is that the officials will definitely remain on high alert. Whenever there's heavy rainfalls, we can expect the hot spots to always be flooded. So tonight, I don't think there'll be many emergency services and disaster management officials that will get much sleep. They would rather monitor the situation and see if there's anybody else out there that requires any help. But for now, like I said, they have their hands full at Kliptown. And if I may draw your attention, earlier we reported that Witkoppen Road, a bridge had collapsed there. From what we understand, authorities have barricaded that road, so there's no access there either, and they're waiting for national road agencies to actually clear out what's going on.
Well, thank you very much for that update. Our eNCA reporter Narissa Subramani live to us there.